Okay, mine just flipped over.
Alright, so, funny story being... Oh well, now that I've figured that part out, that's working way better. Funny story being, I did and actually finished that one radio project I had been working on.
Right.
It turned out so much better than I had anticipated it to so far that I am actually a little bit scared to try and alter it in any way.
Huh.
Like, I would say the project is not quite finished, technically.
Uh-huh.
But I am actually worried about trying to finish it because it is working far beyond what I ever expected any of my projects to turn out.
Mm-hmm.
Because as far as its ability to play MP3s goes, it works exactly as I wanted. It works very well. It works very easily. The knobs, which I wired up and actually had to create a circuit board for, but in order to get all the circuitry right, worked. They just worked. I mean, I had to make a few changes, but minor ones. Mm-hmm. But everything, for the most part, just worked.
Like a Mac.
Yeah. Except, you know, without as much egotism.
Well, nothing's perfect.
Yeah. But, so, there's like a couple things I haven't done. I haven't figured out a way to rig in a knob that would allow me to skip tracks. Because it has to be a knob, because that will, you know, I don't want to drill a hole in it or put a lever or something on the front of it. But it works so well, I don't want to, because everything else, I want to add like I said, an indicator light to show when it's on. But that would require me basically opening up the case again and doing some rewiring.
Mm-hmm.
But everything works.
Yeah, so you don't want to touch it anymore.
Yes, I'm afraid that if I touch it, I will destroy what works. Because so far, to everyone I have shown it to in real life, their reaction has been, holy shit, that's awesome.
Rightly so.
Oh, well, you know, I'm happy, and, you know, I like making shit, and of course everyone likes hearing when something they have made is nice.
Yes.
And I figured the first thing that I'm probably going to do once I get that phone is record a little video about the monstrosity.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, might as well. Kind of.
Okay, so there's my drop chute. And as usual, I want to put a light in here, because I don't like the way the lighting engine works.
No, yeah.
And this is actually the correct height for this, so that's good. Now, how many dispensers do I still have? 3. Okay. I can always make more, but I do have a limited amount of iron, so I don't want to run through all of it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to assume I used about 2 stacks worth of cobblestone for that column. Okay, so anyway. So I guess what I will do... Okay, I do have 1 chest available. That'll work for a start. Yeah, that'll work. Oh, well, I didn't mean to destroy all 3 of those. Give me 1 back.
Oh, that's working surprisingly well, so I think I'll leave that. Well, I still gotta destroy these other ladders because the ladders were a great idea, except I forgot that now that the ladders actually have hitboxes on them...
The water won't...
Well, no, mobs get stuck on them.
Ah.
So that was...
Yeah, that could be a problem too.
I even went to the ridiculous trouble of crafting a playlist, or crafting a series of playlists for the MP3 player that's all like music from the radio, from, you know, the 40s and radio programs from the 40s, and Armed Forces news broadcasts. No, I've got those in a different folder.
Right.
No, but Armed Forces news broadcasts from the 40s, and CBS and NBC news broadcasts from the 40s. And it's, you know, kind of fun to sit there and listen to it at night, and, you know, but it still does come down to, like, it's fun to listen to, but I recently saw a little video on a couple that are trying to live their lives as though it was the 1940s. And their house is pretty much completely full of vintage everything from the 40s. And if they can get the version of something from the 40s instead of the version of something that's modern, they will get the version from the 40s. And all of their clothing is vintage clothing from the 40s. And it's just one of those, I get it. You don't like modern things. I get it. No, I'm sorry. I love modern times. I might think the old technology looks pretty. That's about it. That's why I put it in an old radio. I thought it looked pretty. It's not because I think it was some sort of miracle time where everyone was more enlightened.
Because they weren't.
No. I still love getting into a little conversation with some guy on, you know, an antique radio message board, where a guy in his 90s, who I had been asking for advice when I was actually trying to fix it up, was backing me up because the guy was like, I wish we still lived in the 40s. It was a more enlightened, better time. And I was like, no, it wasn't at all, even remotely. You're like, well, blah, blah, blah. You gotta admit, society was way better back then than it is now. I was like, no, it wasn't. Actually, it was way worse as far as anything went for, you know, like, if you weren't white. And then, you know, the old dude in his 90s or so I'd been talking to just popped in and was like, yeah, I gotta agree with the kid there. Honestly, unless you were white, it was pretty much a miserable shit time to be alive. So, you know, he said, basically the only reason you'd want to live there is because, again, I want to live in that time period. And someone was like, the only reason you would want to live in that time period is if you wanted to be able to say things out loud against minorities that are considered socially taboo today. Then all of a sudden the guy stopped fucking replying. I was like, well, I guess you figured that one out, sir. Thank you very much. It's like, yeah, you run into guys like that all the time who just like, I wish it was the 40s. It was so much better. And you're like, yeah. When you died of diseases that can easily be treated. Oh, well. It's just, you know, how... Oh, there's always an asshole.
Yeah. And sometimes it's me.
Yeah, well, the difference is, you know, you're an asshole in general. You don't care what race, creed, or religion someone is. You're an asshole to everyone, and that's what makes you fair and unbiased asshole. Well, okay, no, you're biased as hell, but still. It's not against someone for, you know, what they are, but who they are as a person. That's
something
fair.
like that.
That's fair. That's real American freedom.
Yo, Joe?
Yeah, no. Alright, there should be, unless everything despawned because I ran all over the place. Should be mobs somewhere around here.
In your system, I assume you mean?
Yeah. Go outside, please. Alright, is there anywhere I accidentally built that mobs are getting caught in a snarl?
You can go into... Well, no, if you go into spectator mode, they'll all despawn immediately.
It's probably because it's night, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It's probably the simple solution to this.
Could be. Oh. Well, that's a problem.
Damn it. Alright. Oh, I'll just sit here and stare at this dick flume. Oh. Stretching my back out. Rob was nice enough to find another chair that was, that is fairly comfortable, meets all of my needs and requirements, but it's got a weirdly bent back. It's not even, like, bent from use. It's just shaped like almost an L.
Must be an ergonomics thing.
Yeah, well, either way, I can't actually sit back in it and, because the second I do, it tries to fling me backwards. It's, needless to say, slightly uncomfortable. There. It's still working fast. I think this will still work faster. I need to see monsters in order to determine that, though. So it might be good for one more episode after this, but I am currently an armpit swimming in ball sweat. But this should, in theory, make this whole mess way faster. I'm gonna have... Oh god, no, I'm retarded. I have to cover all this up because I just realized that the nice viewing chambers I built so I could actually see what was going on are lighting up the chambers below me. Therefore making it entirely pointless.
As you do.
Let's put back on the, X-ray texture pack. Actually, what am I... There's a way simpler way to do this.
Okay, this is a little bit too low. That is unfortunately a little bit too low. So I think the easiest way to handle this...
There.
Go divert them again. Spoilers, my system has a diverter.
Alright. So I think after I'm done recording, I will come take a look at your thingy. Right. I will come take a look at your mob trap.
Yeah, I was just thinking that sounds a little,
Yeah, well.
That sounds a little, fanfic inspiring.
The internet is a terrible place.
It is, it is.
So I wonder if I should sell this. Jesus Christ, I forgot I even had this N64 games drawer.
Cool.
Well, I just looked over and I realized that this is a monstrosity that sits next to me. It just is a rack drawer of, like, N64... Well, the games I don't keep, but I mean, like, the thing itself is a Nintendo-branded thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'll bet someone would pay money for this. Ah. Well, that creeper... Okay, it's worth it alone because apparently it makes mobs spin in circles. I don't think they're going up any faster, but they're spinning like corkscrews. Except for skeletons. No, wait, that one's spinning like spinning in circles. Okay, apparently it makes about 50% of mobs spin in circles. This is acceptable.
Okay, let's divert this again.
I guess I could, next time if I really wanted to, just keep adding on to the bottom of this. I don't think there's too much of a reason at this point, because I think mobs won't spawn in the higher and lowest parts of this already. It'll be something to do, at least. I don't mind coming up with shit. I'm gonna have to build a fucking...
Besides prettying it up, mine might be getting close to done.
Alright, well, then I might work on prettying mine up in the meanwhile. That way we'll, both hopefully be done around the same time.
Let's see, I need to borrow a crappy sword, which would be in the weapons tab, not the tools tab.
Oh god, I've basically just been building in creative all day, and it still took me about as long as it took you. Come up and see old Dan. I'm rocking, rolling all night long.
Wait, at this point I can go out of creative mode.
Minute man.
The zombies are a little bit more robust than most things, but like that skeleton died in 2 hits from a flight of stairs.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any type of mod that removes the monster spawn limit.
I looked into that. I think it's an option on like a bucket server. But in terms of like forge stuff, I couldn't find anything because I was thinking the same thing.
No way we could really test it if we,
Well, basically, like, the point I read somebody else making, which I thought was a fairly good one, like, it wouldn't be so much we'd be testing the capacity of our spawners, we'd be testing the capacity of your computer.
Yeah, because...
that one still died on impact.
Yeah, if the monsters just kept spawning, then it would just create an infinitely large amount of server lag.
Yeah? Like, these limits are there for a reason, I guess.
Yeah. Alright. Fine.
This isn't perfect, but it's not bad.
This will also help me figure out where monsters could or would be spawning. And yeah, throw some shit. Throw some shade. Well, throw some torches in the shade. Alright. God, what's the minimum light level for monsters to spawn?
7 or 8.
Alright, I'll have to go through here and determine what my light levels look like. Alright. That's F3. Alright, light level 10. 8. So I'm gonna have to put one on the ground between these columns with torches on them because apparently that's too far apart to light. It's a bit ridiculous. Alright. That's fine now. I expected something stupid. Oh. Now. Yeah, so I had one of those moments the other day where, oh god, you know how you ever have? All right, my friend Ron is basically, as far as I can tell, personality-wise, Don.
Okay.
From your podcast.
Uh-huh.
You know, a little bit socially awkward, but genuinely a very nice human being.
Right.
Alright. Imagine if, imagine the amount of work it would take Don, or to have Don just randomly go, well, I've decided that though this person has been my close friend, I am absolutely sick of their shit and I'm not going to deal with it anymore.
Okay.
Alright. That is essentially my friend Ron. You know, he is of the same personality. The intense amount of work that hostility would take, or that it would take to actually make him hostile would be mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
Especially to the point of, like, cursing. No, he'll curse some, but it usually has nothing to do with anger or anything like that. And it's like, well, blah happened. Well, shit. Is the closest you're going to get out of him when it comes to, like, actual cursing.
Hooray,
so,
potato.
The other day, of course, a good friend of his was in our free company on the game, and his friend decided that he was going to, leave the free company because he's dumbass. I mean, that's basically what it boiled down to. He decided someone had a problem with him and he was going to leave. That way he wouldn't cause any drama and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, I remember
blah.
you telling me about that.
Yes, in the process causing far, far more drama than he would have ever caused if he stayed.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, he managed to get Ron, who, like I said, is very similar to Don in the regard of how much of a chance he is willing to give people